In this video, I'll be walking through how you can create a form in the Kodaris CMS. So for example, if I go to here, About Us, and to this Contact Us page, here we have a form with a few inputs, and once we submit it, it'll send an email to a contact email for the site. So to set up something similar, we'll want to go to the operations portal and go ahead and sign in. And then here we'll want to go to the Pages screen. It'll be under the CMS section. And here we'll want to add a new page. Go ahead and click the Add Page button and select Gutenberg. Now here we could either create the form from scratch or use a predefined layout. For example, we have a layout here for a form that will set up some basic fields for us. But for the purposes of this video, I'll set up this form from scratch. I'll go ahead and click the little X. And here, let's just quick build out this page. It'll be a register form. With some basic text. And then for the actual form itself, you want to choose a block, click the little plus icon, and search on form. Go ahead and select this option here. And then here you'll want to select Contact Us. So it'll build out a basic form for us with first name, last name, email, and so on. Now let's go ahead and preview this. First, let's save our changes, and then click the preview button here. Here's our basic form. Now let's say we didn't want all these inputs. Let's say we just wanted like name, email, phone, application, and message. And what if we also wanted to change the layout or the template to be a small width like this form here? We could go back to the page editor, and here in the sidebar to change the template for this page, go to the template section and choose small width, or whichever one you'd prefer. It'll automatically save it, and we can go back to our page and refresh. Now let's change some of these inputs. Delete that one, change this one to just name. And to change these input settings, you'd select the input, go to the sidebar and click block. Here we have the input name, its last name. I'll change this to name. Here is the input type, it's text input. That's fine for now. There is also all these other types of inputs that you could use. And this input label is fine. And here is also the option to add a placeholder. I'll move that for now, and I'll also keep this as input as required. So let's also change a few more things. For example, here is a drop-down input with several options. Let's rename this to company type, since this is a register form. And let's put instead partnership. This is the input value here on the left. And then this is what will actually display to the user. So here we have partnership. And let's put another option as corporation. And let's delete all these other options. We can do that by selecting this remove option icon. Alright, that's all that I want to change for the inputs. Let's go ahead and save and make sure it looks good on the website. Okay, let's go back to our form. And now if we want an email to send to a contact email for the site, once a user actually submits this register form, we can go ahead and select the whole form I selected an input and then choose the select form button. And then here in the sidebar, you want to go to block and go to form settings. So here we want to change this form name to contact. This will ensure that an email gets sent after a user clicks submit. And as mentioned previously, it'll go to the contact email address for the site. And here we can also change our success and error messages. So I'll change it to something like that, and the error message to something like that. And one thing to note, this register form once submitted will send a generic email to that contact email I was talking about, but you can also set up custom form processing, for example, where an email is also sent out to the customer who submitted the form as well as to the contact email address. But we'll cover that in a separate video. Let's go ahead and save our changes. And let's go back to our form. Let's quick change these placeholders because they don't look too good. I'll select my input that I want to change, remove the placeholder, and save. Now let's go ahead and fill out this form. And click submit. Here is our success message, and now let's go ahead and check that email that is sent out. If my email address were that contact email address that I mentioned, I would simply go to my email, but for the purposes of this video, I'll just go back to the operations portal, go to the email screen, and check the email from here. So here is our email. I could go ahead and view it. And here we see all our fields that we've added. Now let's say that we have been adding a lot of forms. We've got 4 or 5 forms on the website. We'd like to know which form each of these emails has come from. So to do that, we can go back to our page editor for our form. And here, add another input that tells us where this was from. I'll go ahead and add this under the submit button here. I'll select the submit button and choose options, insert after. Here we want to go ahead and select add block up here and choose input. Now the user doesn't need to see this because it's just for us, so we know where this form is coming from. So if I go over to input settings here, this will be the form name, and then here we'll want to change the input type to hidden input. This will hide it from the user, and just to make sure it's hidden, we'll also want to remove the input label. We can go ahead and also add an input value. This will be, if we go back to our email, this will be the value on this side that'll tell us where this form was submitted. So let's go back, and this value will be register since this is a register form. We can go ahead and click save, and let's go back to our form and resubmit it so we can see our changes in the email. So here we do not see our hidden input. That's good. Let's go ahead and fill out our information. And submit this form. Let's go ahead and check the email again. I'll refresh, get the latest. Here it is, and view. So now at the end here we can see our form name and register that tells us which form this email came from. So one last thing, I'll go ahead and show how we can set up that contact email address that these forms will be going to. We want to go ahead and go to the settings screen. We want to go ahead and search on contact form, email. We can see some settings here. There is contact form email 2. That will be the 2 emails on the emails sent from the form submission. And then there's also contact form email CC and contact form email BCC. Those will be the CC and BCC emails on that email from the form submission. Let's go ahead and open up the details of this contact form email 2. And here you can specify in a comma-separated list what emails you'd like those form submissions to go to. So for example, I'll just go ahead and add mine real quick. At the end of the list, separated by a comma, and go ahead and click Save. Now when a form is submitted next, that email will also get sent to me. That's about it.